Trust me, I know where I'm at, and I've said it before. A person's character is not judged when they ride the wave of success. When everyone chants their name and you want to be their friend, no. Your character is put to the test when your back is against the wall.
I think that a lot of people say, oh, I just want to they're kind of dabbling in the idea of improving themselves. And the real way to do it is you got to write down what the fuck you want and then go after it. Because otherwise you live in sort of a wishy-washy world. You know, if you decide I'm going to get down to bang, I'm going to do this, I'm going to run a marathon in less than 5 hours, I'm going to, whatever the fit is, you got to write that shit down and go for it. What I tell people is the best advice I've ever heard is that live your life like you're the hero in your movie. And right now is when the fucking movie starts and your life is a shitbag disaster, like a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he wakes up and makes a blender full of pizza and ice cream. Those guys were like on the brink, they put the gun in their mouth and they put it down because they see a photo of their daughter. Pretend that's you. Pretend you are, right now, you're in the part of the movie that starts and it shows you as a loser. And just decide not to be a loser anymore. Live your life like there's a documentary crew following you around and you are analyzing your own behavior.
And every single one of you can relate to this because this is what's difficult about failure. The disappointment is on you. It is your fault, and you go through failure alone. But failure has made me who I am today. Failure gives you two choices. You stay down or you get up. Well, I'm up. And I am fired up because I have figured it out. Now you all understand the disappointment of failure. And I can stay down or I can get my ass up, and I'm in the getting up business.
Those times when you get up early and you work hard, those times when you stay up late and you work hard, those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. And if you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will.
When you think that like you have to be tough or you try to define like who you are as a man or whatever, you get to the point where you realize being a man is just being who you are. And that means being able to show emotion, being able to show weakness at times, being able to understand failure, being able to handle success a certain way. Like there's a lot of things. So I honestly think it's not necessarily a certain moment. I've just been lucky enough to have all these experiences in life and not just go through them without learning. People who can't accept an individual for living their life the way they want, because we only get one go around in this thing. It's just downright ignorance. I have an older brother who's gay, and he's still my brother. Like that's the thing. I have two choices. I can disown him as a human being for what he does, or he can be my brother. He actually came to me many years before he came out. He came out to me before I turned 20 years old, and asked me to keep it a secret, and I did. I kept it a secret for quite a long time, like probably another 10 years, until he was ready to let my family know. And when he did, he was met with a little adversity by the family. It's an old Italian family, they're stubborn old bastards. And I was there to support him every step of the way. And I think me being where I was in my life, my family looked at my support for him and immediately kind of fell into that. He is our son, our brother. Like I said, it's one of those things where if it affects what you do, if it affects your workplace, I'll be the first. I'm a working man. So if it's going to affect me clocking in and clocking out, then I'm going to have a problem.
Do what you would want to do so that your kids one day would look back at it and see that documentary and look on it with pride. Like, wow, my dad was a bad motherfucker. He really did what he had to do. Wow, my mom really got shit together. Yeah, this life is fucking me over, man. I could have had this and I should have had that. And why does this guy get that? And why does that guy get this? And all things that are completely unrelated to you. All things that you find other people's success as a downfall in your own existence. Instead of being inspired, instead of choosing to be positive, instead of like improving constantly on the direction of trying to achieve whatever the fuck you have written down, you just sit around and spiral. There's nothing more miserable than sitting around someone who's complaining all the time. It is one of the most annoying things ever. Everybody hates it. When someone just sits around and they complain about their life and they don't do jack shit about it. And you tiptoe around it. You don't know what to say. Well, she gets upset when you bring that up. I don't want to bring that up. And you want to go, you f***ing crazy, but you know what's wrong with your life. Stop announcing it to everybody else and go out and fix that shit.
We're not on this stage just because of talent or ability. We're up here because of 4 a.m. We're up here because of 2-a-days or 5-a-days. We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way. If anything tried to bring us down, we used it to make us stronger. We were never satisfied, never finished, will never be retired. My high school English teacher, Mr. Fisk, I actually paid attention one time in class. And he said, he had this beautiful quote, and it read, "Rest at the end, not in the middle." And I took that to heart. I believe there's time for resting at the end, but for me, that time is not now. Thank you for this tremendous honor of acknowledging my basketball career, but I'm far from done. My next dream is to be honored one day for inspiring the next generation of athletes to have a dream, sacrifice for it, and never ever rest in the middle. So that means taking things, using things in your life that are scars, using those moments as a weapon, right? Using those as, using basketball as kind of like a vehicle through which to express yourself, right? So at that moment, for us to face the Celtics again, it's not about the Celtics. It's not about your opponent. It's about you. It's about you taking your inner struggles and channeling that through the game, right? As a way to unleash.
I think that there's a lot of people out there that think somehow or another you're going to get to some place where you're living in silk sheets and you're getting your toes done while someone's dropping grapes into your mouth. I don't want that. I've never wanted that. That guy's not going to be happy. He's going to be bored. An hour into the grapes, you can get those fucking grapes away from me. Stop painting my toes. What am I doing in this bed? I got to do something. I'm not stimulated. The human organism, the animal that we are, needs constant stimulation because it evolved trying to find food and escape enemies and find shelter, escape nature, escape the elements, try to survive. And this is the great joy that you have in taking care of your children, that you can protect your children from the elements and the enemies and feed them. And it's also the great sadness that you see in losers. When I see a loser, I see some guy who's 43 years old, lives in his parents' basement, and he fucking hates the world. I'm like, that was a baby. Man, this is a baby that somebody just gave shitty nutrients to, whether it's nutrients in the form of food or in the form of thoughts and ideas and examples. And this kid developed these horrible, self-defeating patterns of behavior that have led them to this point where they're this middle-aged person with no future and no idea of how to get out of this rut and probably never will escape it and might just wind up sucking on a gun. This is the world that we live in today. And I think part of that world is because we have been fed this line of horseshit that you're supposed to seek comfort. And I don't think you are. I think you're supposed to seek lessons and you're supposed to seek difficult tasks and accomplishments. And through those things and through doing things that are hard to do, even if it's just a 90-minute hot yoga class. I do a 90-minute yoga class. Those last 20 minutes, I do not want to be there, man. And I definitely don't want to give 100%. And I can cheat. But if I don't, and I get through it, when that time is up and the lady says namaste and everybody gets up, man, I made it. I lost 15 pounds. My yoga mat is drenched to the point where I could literally wring it out and fill a jug up with water. But through that struggle, I will now have a better day, and I better do it again tomorrow.
I am very driven. I work hard. Like I said, I always felt like I had to work twice as hard as everybody else, and I was willing to work twice as hard as everybody else to find myself in the position that I'm in now. And I really feel like I'm just getting started with what I want to accomplish in my career and in business and in my life and what I want to do philanthropically. So I go to bed at 7:30. But I always feel like if I put my mind to something and I really do the work, I can accomplish something. And then if things don't turn out, because I live and breathe, and my primary business is based on a lot of failure and success, right? But it's never for lack of effort. As long as I do everything I can to do my best And I feel pretty darn good about the effort. Sometimes I win and succeed, and sometimes I don't. But I always felt like if I didn't do everything I could to prepare, then that's when I had regret. And that's when I felt disappointed in myself.
You guys keep hearing about the future, and even today you'll hear about the future. And the future shows a lot of promise, but I think we should focus on the now, on what you guys have done to be here today. And I've sat in those seats. I know what it's like to be here. And it's a wonderful gauntlet. Just to be here, you guys sacrificed and left behind your family, your friends, and your social circles and started over again from scratch. Life lessons that I learned at Cushing Academy, I carry with me every single day like you'd carry a cell phone, and I use them every single day like you use Instagram. Integrity, creativity, respect, discipline. You can tell your whole classmates that, hey, when I got here, I messed up. And you can be accountable for your actions. This morning, I sat in the dean's office in one of those comfortable chairs, kicked myself back going, yeah, this is a much better situation than I was sitting here 20 years ago. But once again, those were decisions that I made to challenge authority, and I encourage you to do the same, but be accountable for your action. Don't throw away today. I know a lot of you, I remember when I was sitting there, I just wanted to get my diploma and get on with my future. The future will be there. Your friends are here today. Your families are here today. Some of the friends are here today that you won't see for a while. Celebrate, enjoy, rejoice, party responsibly. I'm not going to pretend that the movie's about me. I'm a vehicle to move scenes forward, and I can relate to the story, and I read it and love it just like you do, but I'm going to need some help. And Kay and Geraldine and Ike and Leslie and everyone was like, no problem. And every situation as of late that I've been in, everyone's been the same. Like, no problem, I'll help you out, kid. So surround yourself with wonderful people, be willing to learn, be willing to be humbled, and good stuff will happen.
I had a purpose. I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play. And anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for.
At what age did that goal become crystal clear?
I made that deal with myself at 13 years old.
At 13 years old?
13 years old. That's the
You
deal
were
I
crystal
made.
clear about it.
Crystal clear.
And where did inspiration come from?
The love of the game. The love of the game. The challenge. Like, I would watch Magic play. I'd watch Michael play. And I would see them do these unbelievable things. And I'd say, go after your dreams. Right? Go after it. And, I never compromised that. I never allowed anybody to tell me what I was capable of accomplishing. I never let anybody tell me that I can't do. Right? I went after it. I put all my eggs in one basket, and hopefully they have that same mentality. If you want to accomplish something or, do something that a lot of people think is difficult to accomplish, you have to put all your eggs in one basket. There's no compromise with that.
It's a feeling that's undescribable, to be able to win a championship and to be able to go in the locker room and celebrate with your teammates and everyone that puts so much into the effort to do it. And that's part of my motivation, to get that feeling back. Personally, I hold myself up to a standard higher than anyone. So that keeps me going as well. Being an athlete and being around basketball helped mold me to who I am today. The friendships and the brotherhood that it created, the love to, I think when you play sports and you're committed to something, the commitment, the responsibility of showing up to practice on time, to being there for your teammates, to listening to your coaches, it's a responsibility that you have when you're playing with a group, that you have to hold your end of the bargain, and it shaped me to who I am today. I would say I really started to open my eyes when I was in 8th grade. We played in a tournament in Orlando. We were kids from Northeast Ohio, from Akron, and we got all the way to the championship. We lost in the championship by 1 point. But we made a statement in that tournament that no one thought we could do. And I was like, okay, I got a little something going here. Maybe my dream can become a reality. Let's just stay focused.